I don't know why. I should have started out. I forgot. I just started out really calm, like, hello, everybody. Like, it's quiet in the morning and people are still sleeping. What I really wanted to do was be like, hey, welcome to Dayton, Ohio. And I started getting real excited. But when people aren't actually here live, you would need people here waiting. It's like picturing how Howard Stern or like a radio show would kick off in the morning. But you actually need people there waiting for the show to start, not I just show up and then hope you show up. So I was watching this documentary here on YouTube. It looked pretty old. I don't know when it originally came out. I have no link or any information other than I was watching a documentary about it was in New York about people that start drinking in the morning. And yeah, it was like one of them documentaries where you're just talking to kind of regular people about it seems like, well, what's going on here? What's the point of this? What are we talking about? Where are we going? And there's really not a lot. It's just, talking to people that drink at 7 o'clock in the morning on a regular basis. My favorite guy was like, he's having a little Jack Daniels at 7:30 a.m. And the guy was kind of like, well, why are you doing this? He's like, I got a lot to do today. He's got like, I got a big day, man. I had to stop by and have some Jack Daniels. Um, so it seemed like maybe there were some of them were in denial that they were alcoholics. Like one guy was basically like, you got these alcoholics that come in here, unlike me. You've seen that before, David? Yeah, it's all right, huh? Actually, I'll need to finish it, but yeah, I like those kind of documentaries. I mean, Vernon, Florida, I think is probably the greatest ever for that type of documentary where you're just kind of documenting normal people doing normal things to them. Not so normal to some of us, but. So I hope everybody had good luck with their spring tickets if they gave it a shot. Got the lottery. It's like it was a hot time right now. You had spring ticket on sale and then the summer tour pre-sale lottery or whatever they call it now. Did you like it, David? Do you like that? You like that kind of documentary? I assumed you remembered it. But yeah, it was just like one of them random recommendations here on YouTube as well. I'm still getting those really small channels too, and they're usually misses, but every now and then I get a hit. Um, and that started during the LA fires. I watched so many small channels that it I think it's now like plus I subscribe to a couple of small channels like people that have less than 1,000 subscribers. And so I think maybe YouTube is just like, oh, this guy will actually watch small channels, so they recommend them to me. Not that that documentary was, but just like I don't know, a little bit before I started doing this, I clicked on a video that had 2 views. I was the third. Yeah, same here, David. I like to. A guy I was talking to, I just had a simple question. A fish fan friend of mine. I should just call him a friend. I don't know why I always differentiate. But anyhow, a friend of mine, his family used to be in the funeral home business. So I just had a simple question for him about this story, this crime story. Mary and I watched. This kid was his death was ruled an accident, and then it turned out, after more investigation and the family really, really pushing, they reopened the investigation and exhumed the body. And anyhow, long story short, this kid's organs had been replaced with. Ask my funeral home friend, like, how would that happen? And like the hospital was blaming the funeral home was blaming the hospital. So I just kind of asked him, like, hey, I assume it's normal to put something in there, but you wouldn't just put newspaper in there, would you? So that was the first question. You wouldn't just put newspaper in there, would you? Like a Black Friday ad from Penny's or Kohl's or Macy's or something? He was like, absolutely not. Funeral homes have these things that are specially designed for that. And then he also told me the little detail that if the organs are left in, they like pierce them, puncture a hole in them, so there's not any, I guess, just gases build up or whatever. So then my next question was, who would have been more likely to? What do you think happened to the organs? Who stole the organs? Where did the organs go? Is there anything nefarious going on here? And he said probably something nefarious going on. It was very, very unlikely the funeral home, and that it's a pretty dark world out there. And yes, it's very possible that maybe the medical examiner, I don't know. And he said it's also that Possibly they were just like badly damaged and wasted, and someone thought, oh, well, nobody will ever know. Um, so then that got us talking about a company called LifeNet that handles a lot of the organ. This is real good early morning talk, but LifeNet handles a lot of organ donations, and apparently they are not gentle and kind with the bodies, because he said a lot of times at the funeral home, if they got a body that was an organ donor, that it was always going to be a closed casket. He was like, they just completely, he's like, they don't just dissect. He's like, they just whatever, man. They go in there with saws, hammers, whatever it takes to get those organs out. A lot of times the organs just go to waste anyhow. And so again, it just kept getting darker and darker. I was like, wow, man, I just had a basic question. Like, is it normal to put newspaper in there? Hey, what's up, John L? Wow, you're going hard then. Um, ooh, gonna make some donuts. I'd love to have a donut now. But I had my donuts. Look at that, we got back to back Mikey. Oh wait, am I blind? That is Mikey. You might think I'm blind though after seeing the tour video the other day. I promise, like I said in the comments, I don't expect people to believe me. There's a couple of eyewitnesses though that were like, yes, .com was the last thing to be updated. But I mean, I don't know. I was just reading directly off of .com. There's a few dates missing. So then of course people are like, dude, how the hell do you miss dates? I'm like, I don't know. They weren't there. I don't expect you to believe me, but they weren't there. And I know it's not that big a deal. Like, most people are just probably watching the tour video just because they're excited. They already know what's going on, but they're just like, what does Zappa think? Is he excited? Is he going to Columbus? Ticket prices, though, my God, I was bragging to Mary about how, like, yeah, it's pretty cool. They keep their ticket prices down. Walked up to the box office last summer at Deer Creek, got a ticket for a very reasonable price. I don't even remember what it was, $50 or something. Then I saw the Seattle prices and I was like, oh, damn. And then I looked at the pre-sale, the lottery for Columbus, and I was like, oh, damn. So that really sucks, man. I was not really against these indoor venues in the summer like some people are. But when I started seeing some of these ticket prices, I was not real happy. I was like, damn, I would much rather just a lawn seat. Because, I don't really care. I'm not fighting for general admission floor anymore. I don't care about any of that. I've had some nice floor seats. I've had outstanding floor seats. And it's certainly a fun, exciting experience. But I've also sat in the very back at the Nutter Center, and it was a very fun, awesome experience as well. In some ways, you get a way better experience with the lights. Like, if you're way up front, if you're within 20 feet of the stage or something, you don't really get the full effect of the lights. If you're 400 feet from the stage or whatever it is, yeah, I bet you Chicago. Yeah, Seattle is pretty insane. Chicago. That's the problem with these indoor arenas, that you don't have the lawn option. And I just feel like arena prices are always going to be a little bit more anyways. And I don't love this Columbus venue. It's my least favorite of the venues in Ohio, I would say. Not the venue itself, it's just the that last time we were there, man, they had like nobody working. There's just like no one in the parking lot directing any traffic. Luckily, we knew we had been there before, so we knew exactly how to get there and where to park and where we were going. The best spots to park and to get in and all of that. But then getting out, it was just completely a madhouse. And then leaving, I didn't exactly know what. I was like, I guess I'm just kind of going with the flow here. It was a nightmare. You really need someone out there directing traffic, because everybody just wants to get out. Everybody's in a hurry. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. What It's like a cough button. So that's it. I see we got a few people here. You guys aren't very talkative. I didn't have a whole lot to say this morning, though. I know it's not your job to be talkative. Well, yeah. What time zone you on, John L? If you're still there, you here in the East Coast time zone, or yeah, I didn't even I did see obviously Bill Graham sold out like that. That place is small though. Oh wow. Okay. Thank you for the heads up, Fire Marshal Bill. Then I had a question about like accessible seating. That's kind of a weird question, I guess, but like I never knew, like, do you have to verify your disability? Like some disabilities are more visible than others. Like sometimes it's obvious, you know, it's like this person is in a wheelchair or this person has crutches or, you know, this person is like has an artificial limb or something. But you know, not all disabilities are created equal and not are all as visible. But, you know, a disability is a disability. And I just never knew, like, I think if you're trying to get those seats, I don't think you have to prove it or anything. I don't think they're just going to like, I don't know. I just never knew how that worked exactly. I've never tried to buy those tickets or anything. I just didn't know how that worked exactly. Just doesn't seem right that like if you have a disability, but it's not like obvious to the world, you know, with the naked eye, like you still have a disability. And then do you have to go like it's, you know, it could be embarrassing for people then to like talk about. I don't know. I don't know. I just have always been, anybody know anything? Like, can you just buy those seats, no questions asked? Is it like an honor system? Although I don't really trust fish fans when it comes to the honor system. Yeah, not bad, Fire Marshal Bill. That's a pretty good heads up. I like that. Hmm. Right. Yeah, because once you get to the hotel and the person working there, they don't really care, right? You know? Oh, okay. Okay. So you send something in with it. All right. Makes sense. I have seen the sign language interpreter. I feel like it's been a while though. Do they still do that? Because I know I have seen that, but I feel like it has been a while. Um, at Starlight in Kansas City, I think was the time it was the most obvious. Like she was more visible and prominent than the band, I believe, that night, if I'm not mistaken. Which is another thing. I mean, that's cool that they offer that, but I don't know. And then yeah, like not everybody's fully, I don't know. And then she's like, yeah, your first thought is we're here at a concert with music and sign languages for people that can't hear. So what is going on exactly? How would you know you want to go see this band if you can't hear? Maybe you just really enjoy the smells of a fish show. I feel like it's been a while. I don't know. Maybe certain cities, it's just like a part of the deal, the venue. I don't know. Seems like I know I just recently while I was reading something on an old show. I mean, this was an old show, well before the times when there would be like sign language interpreters at shows. There was something in the notes about Trey and the sign language interpreter. I'm totally drawing a blank now. Ah, they can feel. Okay, Russell. Good point. Good point. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to sound like a jerk there, but nice. 100 shows. Congratulations. 29 years in the making. See, that's my kind of 100 shows. These people that like discover the band and try to get to 100 shows as fast as possible. I don't know. Like there's some like I like your 29 years to get to 100 shows. Like you probably didn't do a lot of well, maybe you did do some stupid things, like went to some shows you shouldn't have. But there's just nothing I hate more than like a new fan feeling like they need to get that show number up, so they put themselves in like a financial struggle just because they wanted to get to 20 shows by the end of the year. I don't know. They wanted MSG next year to be their 50th. Like I just like, come on, guys, you're getting taking this all too seriously. It doesn't matter, you know. Like I do here, I do all this YouTube stuff. I get on here and blab my mouth, fish, 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 and I've been to 37 shows. Yeah, 37. Yeah, same thing with me, Fire Marshal Bill. I've been to 37. I think it's 37, 37, 39, 36. I'm somewhere in that range. And that's about a 26-year journey. Had plenty of years. I might be at 50 now if I didn't take years off. And then the last several tours, I'm just like, I'm not really traveling. If they come nearby, I'll go. Deer Creek, anywhere in Ohio. Although Blossom's even a hike, you know. Um, yeah, so Deer Creek, Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati. Those are pretty much definites, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right. I think I thought that too. When I first thought Giz was playing a festival, someone did say, well, that's actually just the venue name. Yep. Um, I mean, David, if you're asking like, should you do gizzard instead of fish? I mean, if you can, if you're looking to save some money and you still want to go see a cool show, well, then definitely that King Gizzard show in Chicago is probably going to be awesome. Um, my first show, I've talked about this a lot, Dan, but my first show was actually Polaris 99, but I was not really a fan. I was one of the people that just went because I heard it was cool and it was a party. And so my first real show where I was like, holy shit, this is awesome, I'm coming back to more, was Cincinnati '03 in February when they came back. Like during the hiatus, I got really, really into them. Gizzard screams too much. That's not as much as you would think, but I know what you mean. I almost just view it as always like it's just like an additional instrument. I feel like that's how they use those. Sometimes like 30 seconds into a show, it's almost like a tick with Stu. I'm curious to hear the shows with the orchestras. Are they? Yeah, I never really got into them too much. Pigeons, like I gave them a shot. Um, I don't get too into very many jam bands though. Hey, what's up, Jo Day? Like a friend of mine keeps telling me about Dogs in a Pile. Got other people always telling me about Goose. I don't know. I just don't generally like the sound of jam bands. And I feel like for a lot of them, you really have to invest some time. Like it's rare, whether if it's whoever, the Disco Biscuits, Dogs in a Pile, Goose, Twiddle, just like picking one song and sitting down and listening to it. If you're not already a big fan, it's usually not going to hit the spot. Like if you take some non-fish fan and you just sit them down and you try to get them to just listen to one song, it's probably not necessarily going to kick in. Although um, so, but I do know, like, if I sit down and watch an entire show, usually, 30, 40 minutes in, you start to get a kind of feel for the thing. And like the sound, you start to adjust to it, I guess. I don't know what it is, but yeah, and yeah, that's the other thing, Pat. Yeah, you see these bands like they're rising and they're gonna be like the next big thing, and then they just kind of level off and then they stay there for the next 20 years. Like, yeah, when I first got into all this stuff, like, you're exactly right. They all just stay right where they're at. Like, I don't know, will Goose ever get to the point to where they're doing like 13 nights at Madison Square Garden where they're the ones doing the garden every New Year's for 4 nights? I don't know. I don't know. Dogs in a Pile certainly are not going to get there. Yeah, yep. I think a lot of people probably went. I know some people, they go to their first show and they're instantly hooked, but it was not necessarily the case for me either. I don't even have one anymore. I don't really remember File Marshall Bill back when it was a time when, like back in, the early 2000s, '03, '04. I was that type of fan that anybody that I was in contact with, I would try to get them to listen to Fish as well. I gave up on all that a long time ago. I don't know what the song would have been. Maybe it would have depended on the person. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Like if they really loved like jazz or Frank Zappa or something like that, I might have started them off with something like Divided Sky or something. But then if it was just like a friend of mine that liked rock music, I might try like Character Zero. But I would never, ever, ever be like, you got to check out the Albany YEM. I don't know. And then after, like I said, at a point, I just quit. I don't even care. If they ask, then maybe. Like even when I met my now wife, I never once like she on her own listened to a Fish show. She'd like hear me on YouTube talking about them. Me and her started seeing each other and talking, and I never was like tried to get her to listen to Fish. She did though on her own. It was like it's okay. She had heard of them. She grew up in Columbus, went to school with people. Yeah, right. You're right. I definitely remember when string cheese was going to be the next big thing. Seemed like when I first got into fish, it was string cheese, Mo. There was still that festival here in Ohio, Hookahville. That was kind of a big deal back then. And then obviously fish, Medeski, Martin, and Wood. Although I don't think anybody ever was like they're going to be the next big thing. It seemed like Mo, string cheese, and then when Twiddle came along, they were kind of like the new band at the time. And then I remember Tea Leaf Green. They were going to be a big one. Yeah, Billy Strings, I wonder how, like, if he's at the point now where he's leveling off, or will he just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger? I don't know. Like, is he at some point maybe going to put out some more mainstream sounding albums? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, yeah, forgot about Humphreys. You're right. Humphreys was another one. Gosh. Yeah, people just don't like Twiddle, do they? You know, I started liking Twiddle a little more. There's a guy that's a fan of the channel here. He's always trying to get me into him. And then I heard Mohali do a song with the Kitchen Dwellers, who I really do like. It is a really good song, probably better than any Twiddle song. And but just liking that song so much, it did give me a little bit of an ear for Twiddle. And then he like bought me a webcast one time for one of their final shows, and I watched it. I was like, actually, Dogs in a Pile opened for him that night. Watched them as well. Oh yeah, where was Billy this weekend? I haven't been following him as closely. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. I still like him and everything, but between King Gizzard and Fish, I just don't have a ton of podcasts. I don't have a ton of time for anybody else. I don't remember the ominous sea pods. I remember Sound Tribe Sector 9. They were like a new big thing. We really don't have any hope for anything, Fire Marshal Bill. Music's all going to hell. Yeah, but it is going to be a dark time in this scene when Fish retires. Because remember, like by 2007, like it was pretty dark times in the jam band world. I mean, I was going and seeing Trey a little bit in like 2005 and 6, I think, but yep. Twiddle, the Crocs of the jam band world. I've been watching more of my senior year in high school's SNL. It really, it's really not good, except for Norm on Update, and he is just relentless. I'm sure some of you probably know he's just relentless with OJ and Clinton jokes. There's also one thing that was very funny, probably not right, but very funny. One of the main NBC news anchors, like wrongly accused some guy of being the Atlanta bomber. Well, then that guy ended up suing NBC and he won. So basically, this guy's a victim of NBC's false reporting. Norm goes on Saturday Night Live every week and just does a fat joke about the guy. I'm like, you've already victimized him once. Now Norm gets on here every week and calls him fat. This didn't seem right, you know. Very funny, though, I'll say. You know, I don't know. It's very funny, but it don't seem right. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was also going to talk about AI and everything I've learned and the program I'm working on. No, I'm just kidding. I was just going to be like, do you guys use it at all? Just basic Chat GPT. I think a lot of us are using at this point, right? Hell, I had a question the other day about these space heaters I've been using. I was just wondering, like, yeah, Norm was the man. And the OJ jokes were so quick and simple and to the point. Like, it was like OJ went and saw the new Scream movie and he stood up and was like, "You call that stabbing?" Yes. Then, like, I don't know, one of the jurors did something and he basically was like, "How can we trust her? She thought OJ didn't do it." uh, the Goldman's father was like, "We have video evidence that OJ committed the murder." And Norm was like, "What's this video, you ask?" The trial of OJ Simpson. Yeah, I have not used the Chinese AI yet. But I hear it's good. I got to admit, I'm a little curious. but just for that reason, I have not, Fire Marshal Bill. I do not. I mean, I look one way or another. Fucking, they probably already got all my data off my phone or something. You know, I have clicked on a TikTok link a couple of times. Damn it. Yeah, yeah, I'm aware of all that, Fire Marshal Bill. That's why I don't fuck with any of them. But yeah, so don't let China ruin the whole thing for you. You know, especially just something as basic as an image generator. What was this? Now, was our favorite of the lot too? Okay, now I'm lost. Sometimes I miss some. Oh, okay, Fishman playing with jazz mandolin. Okay, I remember those days. I remember Pork Tornado though. Come on. Oh, Saturday night was your favorite of the three, the 15th. Hmm. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Dan. I'm a little lost. Oh yeah, I've heard a big something. You're right. Hey, what's up, Mr. E? Hey, those are my lucky stabbing gloves. You're right. Or I thought it was hat. Hey, that's my lucky stabbing hat. And then there was a moment where OJ was really sad inside, and it was the moment when he realized he would never get to kill her again. And then at the civil trial, when they found OJ liable and he owed the Goldman family money, OJ was quoted as saying, "This is far from over." And then when people were like, "What do you mean by that, OJ?" He said, "I'm going to kill more people." Oh, okay. Good call on the indoor. That's good speculation on the indoor venue. Looked a little weird down in Mexico, right? Okay. Either way, I almost consider the screens like a part of. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Or if they do go to more screens, is this going to be a little different than? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe you might be onto something. But I almost feel like they would save that for special events. Maybe not, though. I don't know. Possibly not. I do like the screens, I'll say. And is it possible? Is it possible that I just can't imagine they would do this at this point in their career? But that maybe, just maybe, they were dragging their feet a little bit and they just weren't 100% sure what they were going to do this summer. Possibly they would even take the summer off. And then they decided, no, we're not going to do that. And then when they tried to book the tour, a lot of places were already booked. They wouldn't do that, right? But something certainly is up. Um, I don't know. Then I was like, maybe they just want to hit some different cities, some different locations. I mean, there's some normals in there as well, but yeah, I don't know. Not sure why why it looks so different here. And they could just simply be hit and refresh for a year or two. We'll see. I guess we'll see going forward. Yeah, somebody was speculating the weather because last year they just can't really deal with that anymore. In fact, over the last several years, there's been several. There was the time at Fenway. There's the time up in Michigan. Obviously, there was Green. I think going all the way back, Deer Creek in like 2016 or something. There was a weather delay. So they've had lots of weather delays as well as a cancellation and an early stoppage the last day at the fest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, that's what's fun to speculate, though, I guess. But it could just be as simple as like they just wanted to play some different places. But I do like the light rig theory. The Raleigh show in the rain, yeah. Yep. I have the Deer Creek show in 16, like after the storm was gone, it did still continue to rain. Yep, oh, that's right, the Wilmington show. Yep, that's right. Yep. Yes, it was wet. Then the following year had the following year at Polaris. 99 was pretty wet because it had rained a bunch. But then the next year was the crazy storm cloud. Like social media wasn't really a thing yet then, and somehow that had spread like coast to coast quickly on Fish Internet back at the time. Did any of you guys ever do RMP, Rec Music Fish? Like the original, I guess it was the original message board. Oh, yeah, and the Dix one. You're right. Yeah, I forgot there's been way more weather delays than I realized. There's been several one set shows. Taylor Swift wouldn't have stopped. Yep, I remember that. Yes, she would have. If not to disagree with John Fishman. Oh, nice, Russell. You were an RMP guy, huh? God, man, that just feels like I know everybody has their favorite message board. I just saw something recently. A guy was like, .net sucks now. And he was bumming out because .net used to be so cool. I was like, yeah, man, you should have been on RMP. And then I'm sure people say the same thing about PT. PT used to be so cool. Yeah, she would have had all kinds of problems. But yeah, RMP was great. And it was a nice mixture of fish and just pop culture and other stuff. Well, how long I've been on here? Been on here for a half an hour or more, right? Oh yeah, 31 minutes. Look at that, the internal clock, it knew. Well, sorry if you clicked on this video and you were looking to hear about all kinds of intriguing AI talk. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was just going to be like, do you guys use it really? That's all. And what for? Oh, wow, John L., you were using. That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember when it all went away. It was such a bummer. I don't even really. I just remember even out, like, I was never like a big Usenet guy or anything either, but Outlook Express. Boy, some of the old internet things, huh? All right. Well, you guys go on, get on about your day. If you're bored and you got nothing to do, look for that day drinking documentary here on YouTube. It's pretty interesting. Interesting. Evening. Ah, we're back. All right. Boom. That was a pretty funny sketch from SNL back then. Jimmy did that radio thing, and just the whole thing was just for him to be like, we're back. All right, guys. Boom. We're out of here. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning. Have a good day. If you happen to watch this later and you made it over 33 minutes, congratulations. You're the best. Yeah, good night, John. That's right. For some people, it's morning, and I'm thinking people are going to work or getting ready to shit, shower, and shave and shampoo. You're tossing back a couple of fat tires. Boom. Thank you, Eric and Dan and John and Fire Marshal Bill. Thank you for, dude, one time in high school, quickly, Fire Marshal Bill, my friend and I, we worked with this girl. She had really bad burn scars, and just that sucks for her. And one day, just out of nowhere, my friend started doing the Fire Marshal Bill voice to her, not even really thinking, he was just like stoned and not doing it to be mean on purpose, wasn't even thinking about it. I don't know. Anyhow, she was very hurt, and I laughed. Still feel bad about that. All right, guys. Boom. I'm sorry, Martha. Her name was Martha. She was not fat, though, believe it or not. You would think a girl named Martha might be fat. Nope.